on theory, but we left the round really offended on both sides. Now I'm really good friends with the people that were in that debate round. They're pretty cool guys, but it took a long time for both teams to get over that. So watch your language, basically. And the last thing is build up their arguments. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Hillary Clinton debate or listened to her speeches, but she's really kind of genius because what she does is she makes a straw man of anyone else's arguments and then ridicules it. It's one of the easiest methods of debate, but it comes off very well in the political sphere. Unfortunately, everyone that she interacts with kind of leaves feeling upset or leaves offended by what she said because she didn't treat their arguments as genuine. She didn't treat their arguments with any sort of respect. You need to treat not only your opponents with respect, but what they say with respect. Okay, the perspective. Now, this is kind of what I was saying earlier, and you could honestly, if you get nothing else from my speech, is that the results of the round does not matter in the grand scheme of things. It may seem like it matters a lot, but quite honestly, who's going to remember if you won round 6 at a qualifier in 20 years? No one will. But chances are you will still be in contact with one of the people that you were debating in round 6. That's what's important, is interacting with people in a constructive way, not winning yet another debate round that you could lose at the next qualifier. Doesn't matter that much. First impressions can be only impressions, especially if you're going out of your region, if you're going to a tournament that you're not planning on going to again. There's a chance that you're going to debate someone at some point who you will never see again. That can be the only impression that they have of you. And in particular, I remember this one debate round where I was interacting with this wonderful team, have no idea who they are, but I just remember thinking about how great that debate round was. We had so much fun in that round. Never seen them again. But their first impression was so constructive that I still remember the way that they acted in that round. Okay, consistency is key. You're going to have bad days at tournaments. It's going to happen. But what's important is consistently remembering where you are and how you need to act. It's okay if you snap once or twice. You're not going to be perfect, but the majority of the time you need to remember that you are around other people and remember all of these principles. Okay, this is after the round. Your demeanor. Negative comments are a no-go. How many of you guys have left a debate round and said that the other team sucked? They were just really bad. I have. I will be honest with you guys. Everything that I've put in here as something that you shouldn't do, I have done at some point. Okay, negative comments are a no-go. Do any of you guys have a reason why? Why do you think that is? Yeah, Rana. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I've actually had all of those happen to me at one point. Uh-huh. Exactly. It is. It is demeaning to yourself. I kind of love what she started with saying, which is that it changes how you view the other debaters. If you're constantly articulating that you view someone as lesser, you're going to start actually believing that they are lesser or believing that they are a bad debater. And then when they win debate rounds that you thought they shouldn't win, you're stuck in this quandary that you can't reconcile with the debater that you've convinced yourself isn't good, doing better than you in some circumstances, or winning rounds that you didn't think they should have won. It's just all around a destructive habit. Speculation is also bad. It kind of falls into the same category. You can leave a round thinking that you won on the flow, but like we talked about earlier, if you didn't have the pathos, if you didn't have the ethos, there's a good chance that you didn't win it. Don't leave a round assuming that you won it. Leave the round saying that it could go either way, because debate is won at the margins. It's won in the 2%. Even if we think it's a slaughterfest, chances are it wasn't necessarily. Okay, know your context and theirs. This is kind of what Rana was talking about, just said, which is that know that they could be around the corner. Don't say anything that you would regret if they heard you. Be compassionate. If you had a novice team that was really, really, really scared, be compassionate to how they were. Tell them that they did okay after the debate round. If you had an advanced team that you were debating that you know really well, be compassionate to the fact that maybe they didn't want to be debating you. Reconcile your relationship. One time, this is actually just this year, I actually ended up debating my best friend in the last round of the day. We were exhausted. And before this round, we were both kind of sitting there like, I really hope we don't hate each other after this round, because we were really scared, because we're both very aggressive debaters, and we knew that there was probably going to be something offensive said at some point in the debate round. After the debate round, we sat down and we said, you know, we both said some things that we probably regret. We got a little bit fired up because it was like 10 o'clock at night and we were really tired. But we took the time and sat down, and before we went to bed, we said, you know, we're going to be cool. We're going to be okay, right? And it's just an element of remembering the other person in the debate round. And the last thing is, don't be patronizing. If you have a novice team or a younger team that asks for feedback, don't tell them there's nothing they can improve. It just honestly, it seems really ridiculous if you just kind of patronize people and tell them that they're better than they are. But in the same way, don't be cruel. If they ask for feedback, be honest. That's probably the key that I would give you. Okay, perspective. Your goal as a debater should be to learn and grow. Yes, we do that via competitive means, but the aspect and the goal of debate is to educate yourself on a topic and learn how to communicate effectively. The golden rule is kind of what I was saying earlier. Treat others like you would like to be treated. If you don't want someone talking bad about you, you probably shouldn't talk bad about them. And get as much out of every round as you can. That means listening for advice, asking for feedback, and helping others. How many of you guys have been in a round where the negative team didn't have a brief on your case? Okay, how many of you guys have been disappointed by the way that round went? As in, they didn't really argue very effectively. The vast majority of you, yeah? It would have been better in that round if they'd had a negative brief, yes?
No. Yeah.
For the majority of the time, the round, as in the argumentation, would have been better. Yeah, we can kind of agree on that one. If you're having good debate rounds, you're going to learn more. It may seem counterintuitive to give someone fire against your own case, but you debate best, and you will learn to debate best when you're debating teams that are prepared.
Why do you debate? Better yourself as a person.
Yes, exactly. It's very easy, especially at our age, to kind of view debate. And I'm saying a lot of this, but this is stuff that's really still sinking in for me, going into my 4th year of debate. I've been doing this forever, it seems like. And it's something that's a goal. It's not going to be entirely achievable to think like this, but it's something that's worth striving for. Okay, after your tournament. And now notice I put the word "your" in here because this is when the tournament is still going on, just after you're done debating. Okay, during the competition, rejoice with the rejoicing. If one of your best friends broke and you didn't, you should probably go congratulate them. My first year, I ended up kind of randomly in finals at one of the qualifiers, and not a single teammate from my club went to watch my debate round. That was one of my worst experiences as a debater because no one felt like supporting me. That really, really, really hurt. But that's kind of what I'm laying out here. You need to be supportive of the people that are doing well because chances are they would like that support. Okay, remember why you're here. Why do you go to tournaments? Okay, for most of us, we go to tournaments because we want to compete. If you are putting yourself in a situation where you're not interacting with other people or not learning from the competition, it's a waste of your time to be there. Even if you got knocked out of a debate round, even if your tournament ended early, it's best to still continue to use that experience as much as you can. That means going and watching debate rounds, that means supporting your friends, that means continuing to strategize against cases. Remember where you are. It's really easy to get upset when debate rounds don't go the way you want, but remember that you are in a public place. It's very hard to control yourself, at least for a lot of us it is. So remember where you are. And the last is get as much as you can out of the experience. That's kind of what I was saying earlier. Remember why you're there. Okay, after the ceremony. A couple key questions to ask yourself to, once again, help evaluate your perspective. How are you defining success? Trouble arises if you define it as the outcome of a single tournament. If that's regionals, it can be very hard to not put your identity in how you did there. If it's nationals, it can be crushing if you didn't do as well as you wanted to, if you had an out round that went wrong. But that's the trouble, that's the problematic mindset, because that's when you're putting your identity, you're putting other people's identity in their competition aspect, in their competition identity, not in the fact that they are your teammates. Sportsmanship is second nature when you recognize the true nature of the other competitors, which is your teammates. If you recognize that, then you won't have problem treating them like your teammates. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to say something really quick. Tucker said something after regionals when I didn't do very well, and it just kind of struck home for me. He said that you're not defined by how bad you do or how good you do or how well you do. And that just kind of, because, normally I think like, oh, well, I'm doing really well, so I'm awesome, but if I have bad days, it's like, oh, how do I think? But I really, it just happened.
Yeah, Tucker's pretty great about stuff like that. It's true. If you put your identity in the outcome of a tournament, you are never going to be happy. There will always be another tournament. There will always be more ballots you can win. You need to put your identity in the other competitors and in your relationship with them. I had a question to ask, but I don't remember, and I think it's 12 o'clock, so you guys can go to lunch.